All right, hey everybody, welcome back. This is a class designed to enhance your strength while also improving the flexibility, which is truly what happens in every yoga class. However, we can tweak things to kind of change the quality or maybe the tone of our practice. And so we're going to focus on that along with a little bit more relaxation and stress relief. So when you're ready, take a comfortable seat. And you're going to begin in a seated position. You can always exchange that for a supine seat, which is laying down on your back if that's more comfortable. So when you're ready, close your eyes. You can roll your shoulders up to your ears, maybe slide them down your back towards your waistline, and just start to spread the collarbones apart from each other so that you feel this broadening across the front of your chest. And just notice the body. Notice how you're feeling internally and externally, without assigning it any judgment or value. And how can you just meet yourself on the mat each and every time you come to your yoga practice? And take another moment to observe the quality of your breath. And then we're going to begin with a little bit of resonant breathing. And so this resonant form of the breath is started by toning the muscles in the back of your throat. And you'll start to hear a whooshing sound. Maybe it sounds like ocean waves crashing on the beach, or Darth Vader breathing in his helmet. And you'll start to feel the breath coating the back of your throat in this muscular tone, creating this sound and this quality. And on your next exhale, draw all of the air out by pulling your navel in towards your spine. Every last ounce of breath leaving the body. And breathe in for a count of 4. Exhale out for 4. In for 4. And out for 4. Again, in for 4. And out for 4. And then in for 4. And out for 6. In for 4. Out for 6, 4, 6, 4, 6. And then start to return to a neutral breath, maintaining that resonant quality. Neutral being without count or effort. And just feeling that breath move in and out. And this equal length of the breath and also extension of your exhale starts to downregulate the nervous system and calms down your body and your mind, and helps bring you back to a place of homeostasis and ease. And slowly blink the eyes open, just adjusting. Maybe a little bit more movement in the body if that feels nice. And then when you're ready, let's come into child's pose. Now you can begin with the knees wide and apart, or maybe start a little bit closer in. Perhaps it's somewhere in between. I invite you just to relax your forehead down on the floor. And just soften, unhinge your jaw, maintain that resonant breath. And feeling the gentle pressure on the top of your head, on your forehead, and the lengthening through the top of the head. Just letting the body be soft and heavy all at once. And then slowly lifting yourself up onto your hands and knees momentarily to come into puppy pose. Walk the knees back about 6 to 8 inches. I don't know, I'm really bad at math, so that might be less. Just move them back. Curl the toes under. Help. Reach your hips back behind you so they're hovering over the heels. And you'll feel this nice stretch in the low back as you traction the spine. And reach through the fingertips, paying extra attention to your arm bones as they remain straight. Reaching actively away from you, and start to draw the head away from the hips so that you're increasing the length and the space in between the vertebrae. And slowly release your forehead down to the floor if that feels okay on the neck. But sometimes it's nicer just to let the head float in space. Reaching energetically through the front of the head, for the top of the head, and the bottom of your spine. And take a deep and full breath in. And exhale, soften everything down. And fold your hands back behind your head so that they rest in between the shoulder blades, or maybe right on the nape of your neck. And walk the elbows forward. And start to gently tug on the elbows so you stretch the skin underneath the arms and underneath your armpits. You'll feel that around the shoulders as the shoulders protract round off of the back. And keep reaching actively through the low back. We're not at 100% here, so about 60%. Should be fairly relaxing. And fill your body with breath. Inhale and stretch the arms forward. And this time turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe turn the thumbs out like you're trying to tap the floor. And just feel that sensation in the shoulders. And the rotator cuffs, maybe they're tight. Just breathe. And slowly lifting yourself up, you can drag yourself back and come up onto your shins. Interlace your hands behind your back. And yogi's choice, if you prefer to keep the toes tucked, or if untucked gives you a little bit more stability, that's up to you. Maybe some padding under the knees is nice as well, but wherever you are, bend the elbows generously. Broaden across the front of your chest. And squeeze the shoulder blades together and start to draw them down as you straighten the arms inch by inch. And inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Feel the upper palate lift. And engaging with the body so that there's this sense of stability from the belly button down. And this feeling of lightness and levity from the belly button up. And without pressing the heart forward too much, just lift the chest, reach through the crown of your head. Take another breath in. And on your exhale, slowly hinge forward at the hips, drawing the front body in as you bring the top of the head down to the mat. Really light pressure on the crown of the head as you reach the knuckles actively upwards. So let the energetic pull of the hands upwards, letting go into the cervical spine. Breathe in further. Dragging across the front of the chest, shoulder blades pulling together. Second over in toward the spine, and then slowly curl yourself up and back into that same position. So a version of camel pose, I guess you could say. And squeeze the shoulders together. Feel the collarbones spreading and reaching apart. Draw the navel in towards your spine. Find a little bit deeper back bend here. Lift the heart, reach through the crown of your head. And then to exhale and bow forward, start to pull the front body in. Slowly coming all the way down onto the top of your head, reaching the knuckles up towards. And slowly lift yourself back up. Ribs down, tail down, heart lifts. And then one last time, slowly come. Release the clasp of your hands, give them a nice little shake, and feel all of that blood rush back into your limbs. Sitting back onto your heels, just take a moment to feel. And then be in this space of observation and curiosity, rather than judgment and evaluation. Just feel that sensation on the top of the head, and the blood moving back down into the body. This internal movement that's so crucial for optimal health and wellness. And now when you're ready, let's come onto hands and knees. I'm gonna remove a layer. And from here, find a neutral spine. And set the navel in towards the spine. Stretch your head and your hips away from each other. And slowly roll through a few rounds of cat and cow, moving at your own pace. Maybe you're tapping back into that resonant breath, if you've lost it. Maybe the eyes close, or the toes tuck. Whatever feels right for you here. Just notice the gentle nodding of your pelvis, tipping forward and back. And return back to neutral. Pull the low ribs down and reach the sternum forward, drawing your awareness back to the crown of your head. And then slowly tuck the toes underneath you. Dig them under so you feel nice and steady. And hover the knees up off the floor. Wrap the low belly in and up as you slowly drag the tailbone into the space behind you. Coming into a downward facing dog. I'm gonna walk forward a tad. And see if you can bring your attention back to the crown of the head. And yoga helps us to kind of map out the body by bringing more awareness to certain areas that we might not always feel, right? Like the crown of our head. It's such a great place to be, but we're rarely ever there. Just notice what that feels like. And slowly walk your feet forward to the top of your mat. And bend your knees, bow forward, letting the head hang heavy and the shoulders drape off of the back. And press down into your feet, slide your hands up to shins, inhale, half lift. And wrapping those shoulders back and extending the heart forward. Keep that length as you bow. And inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And exhale, hands come to heart center. And take a moment to set your gaze. Set your navel gently in towards your spine. Feel this internal sense of support of your structure and the muscles, the bones, the blood carrying nutrients all throughout the body, and just lean into that. Linger on that sensation. Inhale and stretch the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold forward. Inhale, half lift. And then place the hands down, stepping back into plank pose. And draw your navel in. And hug the muscles of your legs in towards the bone, squeezing the inner thighs together. And finding this midline down the body from the crown of your head all the way down to the coccyx, the tailbone. And take a deep and full breath in. Exhale to lower the knees. Bend the elbows straight back. Place your chest right between the thumbs. Untuck the toes. And now slither yourself up off of your mat into cobra pose. Wrapping the shoulders back gently, not going for height here, just a little bit of length. And then exhale, slowly release. Curl the toes under. Inhale, lift yourself up. Hover knees, pull the belly in, and drag the hips back in space, downward facing dog. And tap back into your breath. Feel your hands and your feet on the floor underneath you. And take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knees. Lift up onto tiptoes, look forward, and hop or step to the top of your mat. One more round of sun salutation A. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift your arms up and overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge at the hips to bow forward. And take your breath in, half lift. Exhale to plant your hands down, draw the low ribs in. The head and the heart keep reaching forward as the low body extends back. Even feel the glute muscles drawing back into space. The pelvis tips back. The upper back starts to puff slightly up towards the ceiling. Good, and draw the low ribs in and up. Take a breath in here. And soften all the way down to release knees, chest, and chin. Untuck your toes. Slide yourself forward. The shoulders will roll back and the bottom tips of the blades draw together and down to lift the heart forward. Exhale, release. And tap your forehead to the mat. Curl the toes under. Inhale, lift up. Downward facing dog. And use your next inhalation to float the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. And engage the low belly as you extend through the back foot. And step your right foot all the way in between your hands, maybe grabbing the ankle and stepping it forward if you need to. And lower the back knee down. And hug the legs in towards each other. And feel that big toe mound connecting to the floor as you lift the arms up. And breathing the side body long. And lift and tone the low belly and hug everything as you as you bend the knee a little bit deeper. Another deep and full breath in. And then exhale, slowly release, plant the hands down. Lift the back knee up off the floor. Maybe sweep the arms back as you lift up or bring your hands right to the hips. Yogi's choice. And if you need a little more steadiness, hands at the hips cultivates a better connection to your foundation. And bend into that front knee. Energetically hug in towards the midline from your feet. And take a breath in to lift up. Lengthen and stretch. And slowly lower the hands down. Step right back to a plank pose. Deep breath in, spine is long. Exhale, shift forward. Lower the knees to the mat. Hug the belly in and plant the chest right between your thumbs. Tap your forehead to the floor and take a breath. Wrap the shoulders back. Hug the pubic bone and sternum in towards each other to traction the front of your spine as you slowly inhale and lift. So we're not dumping it into the low back, but lifting consciously, finding this supported back bend to open up the chest and engage the lumbar spine. Or the front of the body, I should say. Protect the lumbar spine. And slowly release, lower down, tap that forehead to the mat, feel the pressure. And tuck the toes under. And either press yourself right back up into a plank and slide back down dog, or you can push yourself right up into dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Exhale, step it all the way forward. Lower the back knee down to the floor. Hug the legs in, breathe the arms up. And inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bend forward a little bit more. And squeezing left heel and right knee in to create that sense of stability. And slowly sweep the arms back behind you. Lift the back knee up off of the floor and either stretch your arms right up into high lunge or take them to the hips. And connect to your big toe mounds, and especially the space in between the big toe and the second toe. Feeling the webbing in between them stretch as you press down actively through the feet. And lifting up through the back of your head. And slowly release. Step back to plank. Deep breath in. Exhale, shift forward. Head, knees to the mat. Lower your chest down to the floor, forehead taps. Untuck your toes, zip the legs up. Wrap the shoulders back. Bottom tips of the shoulders draw together and down as you press the heart forward. Take a breath in here. Exhale, release. Forehead tap. Tuck your toes. Lift yourself up. Downward facing dog. And breathe your right leg up and back. Exhale, step it all the way through. Same sequence as before, lower back knee to the mat, hug in towards your midline to lift yourself up. And exhale, sweep the arms back, lift the back knee up off the floor, and then stretch the arms up and overhead, high lunge. And see if you can bring your awareness back to the crown of your head. And imagining in your mind's eye the long column of your spine as you stretch up and down simultaneously. And then spin the back heel down. Let's open up into a warrior two. Lining up front heel with the arch of your back foot. Extending long through the fingers. And just breathing yourself into warrior two, finding this place of strength but not rigidity here. Flip with the front palm. And as you reach back to reverse your warrior, instead of trailing the left hand down the back leg, I want you to reach the left arm forward and then float the right hand back as if you were holding a big ball of energy in between you. So soft fingertips, maybe give them a wiggle. And actively engaging the muscles of your feet, your legs. And we'll float back through warrior two. Bring the front forearm down on top of the front thigh and sweep the left arm alongside of the ear. Side angle pose. Try not to let that front knee sickle in over the ankle, so stay steady. Press the right knee out. As you inhale to reverse the warrior, sweeping the left arm forward, holding that big imaginary ball of energy. And then exhale, tip yourself back, side angle. One last time, inhale, reverse warrior variation, like you're moving through air that's really thick and heavy, or feeling like you're moving through liquid. And exhale, side angle. Inhale, lift back up to warrior two, and then cartwheel the hands down. Yogi's choice, you can either step back into down dog, child's pose, puppy pose if that feels nice, or move with me, bend the knees, roll yourself forward, engaging the belly as you slide into plank pose. Lower your knees to the mat, then the elbows straight back, the chest reaches forward. Tap the forehead down and tuck your toes. Wrap shoulders back. Inhale, lift up. Pubic bone and sternum are hugging in towards each other to curl the heart forward. And exhale, tap that forehead down. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. And a full breath out. And really lingering on that exhale as the breath starts to become a little more choppy and ragged. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step it all the way forward. Lower back knee down. Squeeze the legs in. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, sweep the arms back. Float the back knee up off the floor. When you're ready, the arms slide up into high lunge. And imagining those lines from the big toe mounds, the webbing in between the big toe and the second toe, hugging in and up through the inner thighs, drawing in towards the midline, all the way up through the crown of the head. And as you stay there, I'm gonna do my usual switcheroo, a little movie magic. Good, warrior two. Lining the front knee up over that space in between the big toe and the second toe. So you can imagine that's kind of your reference point there. And exhale to draw the navel in, even cinching at the waistline. And then flip your front palm, reverse warrior variation. Sweep the left arm back, right arm forward. Holding that ball of energy really gingerly. And then exhale, move forward, side angle. Inhale, reverse the warrior, holding that ball of energy. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale to side angle. Inhale, lift back up, warrior two. And exhale, lower the hands down, step back to plank. And this time at the top of your plank, shift the shoulders forward. Option to bend the elbows a couple inches. Reach forward as the low body reaches back. Untuck the toes. Depress the shoulder blades down the back and squeeze in towards the midline. Big toe mounds hug in. Inner thighs squeeze. That low belly and sternum are hugging in as the space behind your heart pushes forward. And untuck your toes. Slide yourself back, downward dog. Imagine someone was pulling a long golden cord that's attached to the bottom of your spine, back in space. And so tapping into that energetic pull maybe isn't so obvious. It's a little more subtle and nuanced. But it engages these different regions of the body and of our brain to create this really beautiful interaction between our body and our mind. And exhale and breathe all the air out. Stay right where you are. And let's roll through that one more time. Inhale, stretch the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Lower back knee down, squeeze the legs in, inhale, stretch the arms up. This time, exhale to bend the elbows. This wall is not conducive to movement on the right side. You're gonna wrap the shoulders back, tip the elbows forward, reach energetically through the crown of your head. Get in an exhale, billow the spine forward, really rounding like cat pose as you sweep the arms back, lift the back knee up. Inhale, stretch the arms up and overhead. Exhale to open up, warrior two. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse warrior variation. And then exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. And then exhale, side angle. And on this next inhalation, pull yourself back up to warrior two. Reverse the warrior again. So left arm starts to kind of like sneak forward as the right arm reaches back, holding that ball of energy. And press down through the right foot to straighten the right leg all the way. And as you hinge at the hips, start to reach the right arm forward and use your left hand like you're drawing a bow and arrow back behind you. Reach back. Get extending through the long lines of your arm. Look down at your big toe mound on the right foot. Keep it glued to the mat and then bring your left hand to left hip. And let's move slowly into a half moon. And lifting the left leg up and bringing it slightly forward as it has a tendency to swing back behind us and kind of knock us off balance. And then again, imagining the golden cord that's exiting the base and the top of the spine through the crown of your head like someone was pulling it taut. Can you reach through those long lines? Maybe the left arm floats up. And take another breath in. Whoa. Exhale, slowly release. And square off the pelvis to the mat. Lower the back foot down. Straighten both legs and walk your hands in between your feet as the toes spin to face the long edge of your mat. Inhale, look forward. And exhale to fold. And soft bend in the knees, pressing down through the inner and the outer edges of each foot. And tip the pelvis forward so that the tailbone lifts high. And getting this really nice stretch in the whole back side of your body, the hamstrings, the calves, and even the low back and the muscles of your pelvic floor. And try to reach the sit bones apart from each other and interlace your hands behind your back. And bring the heels of the hands together, roll the shoulder blades back, stretch your arms up and overhead, and do the same thing we did in the beginning of class as you energetically reach the knuckle mounds away from you and the head releases down towards the ground. And slowly release your hands down. Inhale, look forward and lengthen. Exhale and walk yourself back to the front of your mat. Separate back, downward facing dog. And one round of breath in here. Use your exhale to set your navel into your spine and inhale the left leg up and back. Exhale, step it all the way through. Lower back knee to the ground. Squeeze the legs in, float the arms up. Exhale to bend the elbows, wrap shoulders back, pressing the space behind your heart forward and feeling that lift through the upper palate, the crown of your head as you tip the elbows forward so the shoulder blades press your heart forward like a shelf. Exhale and round the spine in the opposite direction. Plant the hands down, curl the back toes under, sweep the back knee up. When you're ready, arms float up, high lunge. And open up warrior two. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior, hold that ball of energy. Exhale, side angle. Twice more. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale to side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. And then this time as you reverse the warrior, And sweeping that right hand forward, the left arm back. Hold that ball of energy in between your hands. Stay really light in the upper body. And then slowly straighten the right leg as that right hand peels back behind you. The left arm extends forward like you're reaching for someone's hand. Look down at your bottom foot. Right hand to the right hip. And when you're ready, spring yourself forward. Whoa. Into a half moon. And we're reaching through the back leg as you extend through the crown of your head. And hug the navel in towards your spine. And maybe you feel steady enough to stretch the right arm up. And slowly release the right hand down. Square your pelvis off. Lower the back knee to the mat. And straightening both legs. I'm gonna flip myself around. Walking your hands between the feet as you pivot into a standing wide-legged forward fold. Bend your knees, reach your booty back behind you. Extend the chest forward and try not to collapse in the mid-back. So as you bow, immediately start to hug the front body in. Really like suction cup it in, but that's a little aggressive. And let the head and the neck go. A little shake, yes, a little shake, no. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but that was kind of amazing. Good, inhale, extend the chest forward. Exhale to squeeze the low ribs in, really cinch out the waistline and bring your right hand to the back of the pelvis. Reach your sit bones apart from each other. Bring your left hand to the middle of the mat and twist open to the right. And as you squeeze that left shoulder blade back, use that contact point of the fingertips on the floor or on your mat. And as a little bit of traction for the left side body, maybe breathe the right arm up. And then exhale to release. Inhale, extend through center. Exhale, cinch in at the waistline like you're pulling drawstrings tight around the low ribs. And bring your left hand, place it on the back of the left pelvis. You only have, well, you have a left and a right side, but the middle of your pelvis. And maybe even traction that low back a little more. Drag your left hand back in space slightly, like you're pulling and lengthening the back of your pelvis on top of your sacrum here. Or just twist. Maybe left arm lifts. And slowly release. Inhale, lift. Exhale and fold. And feel the inner thighs spiral back. The pelvis spin on top of the thigh bones as it tips forward. And all that good blood flow rushes back down to the head, delivering nutrients and fresh blood into your brain. And slowly lift and lengthen, half lift. Walk yourself back, downward facing dog. And lower your knees down to the floor. Let's take a child's pose. Lower your forehead down to meet the mat. Feeling the breath wash through you. And really letting go, releasing enough to make sure that we have this balance of receiving as much as we do giving of energy in our yoga practice, especially when we're moving. And soak up one more round of breath. And slowly lifting yourself up onto your hands and your knees. And we're gonna come into pigeon pose on the right side, so you can slide yourself back into a downward facing dog, or if you don't wanna move back that way, you can always do it right here. Just slide it forward. Sometimes it's fun to play around with your transitions. And in walking the left foot back behind you, curl the toes under to start. Come up onto the fingertips and reach across the front of your chest. So feel those upper arm bones spin forward. And lift and tone the low belly, drag the fingers back, and maybe find a moment to lift and float up off of the floor. And then maintaining that muscular energy and tone as you lower back down. And it's softening enough in the upper body and even in the low body, so we're not at 100% here. But just noticing that support of your structure. And resting into that. You can choose to lower your forehead down onto the hands. Making a little pillow. And connecting with that point in the center of your forehead. In acupressure, this is referred to as yin tong. And as we stimulate this point of the body, it allows a little bit more relaxation and relief from maybe some stress that we're still holding on to, be it emotional or physical stress from the day. See if you can soften your forehead down and relax all of the muscles and the skin around your temporal lobes, the forehead, the crown of the head. And wrapping all the way down the posterior chain of your body. Landing your awareness back onto your pelvis and the outer right hip. And all of these lines of fascia and connective tissue that run throughout the body are connected. As we breathe, can you imagine that breath just washing through it all? And breaking up stagnation. And feeling the breath wash through everything and break up any stagnant energy. Hydrating and nourishing our tissues, our bones, muscles, and cells. And on your next exhale, hug the navel in towards your spine. Inhale to lift yourself up. Plant the hands down and slowly move yourself back into a downward dog. You can move in any way that feels good to you here. Pedaling the knees, or pedaling the feet, bending the knees. Taking a moment to reconnect with your resonant breath. And just noticing the difference from side to side. And when you're ready, draw your left knee forward into pigeon. And gliding the right foot back behind you. Start with the toes tucked. Hug the inner thighs in towards each other and even drag the left knee back in space energetically. So it'll move back just a hair, but not too much as you slide the fingers back. Hug everything in and feel this sense of lightness and levity in the upper body. And maybe the shoulders and the arms dangle. And gently walking the arms forward. Drawing the front body back like you're smoothing out wrinkles in the front of your shirt. And yogi's choice, you can choose to lower the forehead straight down to the floor. Maybe you stay right on the forearms and just kind of imagine you're stimulating that acupressure point in your third eye. Or I always like to make a nice little pillow for my head with my hands. It's so cute and nice. And can you soften the back of the neck and the back of the head? And staying steady by hugging the inner thighs and the outer hips gently in. And brings a really nice centering effect onto into the pelvis. And so it's important to notice if you're really leaning a lot to the right or to the left. And just stay connected to the midline of the body, even in this asymmetrical position. Good. Enjoy another breath in here. Breathing into the low belly. Actually, let's take one more breath. And exhale to set the navel into your spine and slowly press yourself back up onto your hands. And slowly lift up into a down dog. It's always nice just to shake it all out here in down dog. The head a little release, shake it yes, shake it no. Pedaling the feet, bending the knees, or swaying the hips from side to side. Taking one more big stretch in your last downward dog of your practice today. And then slowly step the feet forward to the top of your mat. Take them nice and wide. And inhale, extend the chest long, generous bend in your knees, and really reach your hips back. Exhale to fold forward, letting the upper body cascade down towards the floor. Gazing in between your legs and bringing your awareness back to the top of your head. Slowly separate the feet even wider, gradually lowering the hips down as you trace the fingers out in front of you. And coming all the way down to sit. Inhale, lift your chest with your hands on your shins or behind your thighs. Exhale to round the back like cat pose and slowly lower down onto your back. And gently releasing the upper body onto the floor and tucking the shoulders underneath you. And slowly draw your knees into your chest. If you have sensitivity in the knee joints, you can keep your hands behind your knees as a little cushion. And just let them fall nice and wide, or go right into a happy baby pose. And as you tip the pelvis forward, feeling that nice curve in the low back, so we're not flattening the low back here. Lengthening through the sides of your neck. Rocking from side to side if that feels good. Breathing slowly and deeply as you prepare yourself for rest. And slowly draw your knees into your chest and gently wrap your arms around the shins, letting the weight of the thigh bones and settle the upper body down into the floor. And slowly extending the legs out in front of you. And feel the palms rotate up towards the ceiling. And notice how that trails all the way up into the upper arm bones, feeling the shoulder blades draw naturally together underneath you, a nice neutral spine. And but the upper arms just gently spin upwards, so the biceps face up and the front of the chest is nice and broad. Let the back of the head get heavy, feeling like your brain is dropping down into the back of your skull. And slowly waking yourself up from this brief moment of rest. But if you do have time to stay for a couple more minutes, then I encourage you just to lavishly rest on your back. Really enjoy your Shavasana and don't skimp on the time. But if you're practicing for 45 minutes, we'll start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, deepening the breath, and gently drawing the knees into your chest, and rolling over to one side. And when you're ready, slowly press yourself all the way up to sit. And staying quiet and still. And gently folding your hands together in front of your heart, closing out our practice in the same way that we began. And let's share one round of breath to seal our practice today. And when you're ready, take a deep and full breath in. And exhale, let it go. And bowing our head down to our hearts in gratitude to this practice and this time of earnest and meaningful connection with our bodies and our hearts and our minds. I thank you so much for joining me today.